You're listening to the Baumbastic Podcast with Andrew Ellis on Inside Arkansas.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the first super regional edition of our Baumbastic pregame show. Arkansas and Tennessee getting ready to get going here at Baum-Walker Stadium at about 4 p.m. on ESPN on the big stage. The tensions are high. The excitement's high. I'm Andrew Ellis. I'm here with John Neighbors. I'm here with Curtis Wilkerson. We're at Foghorns, where we had a great time last weekend, so we just had to keep the vibes going. We're in a little bit of a cooler location. We got some sun on us, some natural light, and the vibes are very high. And as everyone knows, today's Baumbastic postseason podcast is presented by Hickey & Hole Law Partners here in Arkansas, where they handle matters such as divorce, custody, criminal, civil litigation, and more. It's Hickey & Hole Law. Things are about to get better. Fellas, I want to kick it to you. How do we feel comparing and contrasting our confidence, our energy, compared to a week ago, or I guess a little over a week ago, when we were sitting here preparing to begin our postseason journey? How does today's atmosphere and just feeling inside you, how does it compare?
I'll tell you this, I was always nervous, and I'm always going to be nervous and anxious no matter what. But as the week has gone on since Arkansas won that regional, I've gotten more and more confident. And I don't think it's anything that I can point to as far as, it's because Liam Neeson. I wanted to call him Liam Neeson. Crazy. Yeah, that would have been.
Don't give him that much credit.
I'm not giving that much credit. But the fact that Liam Doyle is not going to be going tonight or today as the ace pitcher, the fact that they're not going to have their catcher playing today because of that has nothing to do with that. It's just once you get more and more pumped, more and more excited for an event like this, which it looks like the weather right now, the sun's out. So it looks like the weather's going to hold true. You see the amount of fans that are out there, the amount of people that are lining up. I mean, this is what you come to Arkansas for as a baseball player. And I just, man, I feel great. I feel Arkansas is not only going to win the series, guys, but I'm flirting with a sweep. I'm flirting with the fact that tomorrow night, when we come back here to Foghorns to do game 2 post game with Baumbastic, we're planning our trip to Omaha. That's what I'm feeling right now.
John, I love that. I love that energy. I love the way that sounds. I'm telling you right now, I am not allowing myself to get to that point. I can't set myself up for that, man. I can't do it. But no, I felt good all week, man. I like where Arkansas is at here. You got to feel good after the way they played in the regional. Since we signed off from here, when was it? Sunday night? Since we got the bracket reveal and we saw that this was the potential matchup, this is what we've been anticipating. This is what we've been waiting for. The closer we've got, it hasn't impacted my confidence at all, but I'm not going to lie. Like today, and as we get closer to the game, the nervous energy is starting to build up a little bit. And you can kind of feel it in here. Like people are excited. They're ready to get out there. I think we're kind of tired of the waiting game and we're ready to see a little bit of baseball. So this is going to be awesome, man. The atmosphere is going to be one of a kind. I can't wait. The electricity is in the air. And thankfully, that electricity is the excitement from the crowd and not lightning. The sun is peeking out, and it looks like we're going to be able to play some baseball without a hitch. I'm excited, man.
That's back-to-back days now that I'm stunned that the weather looks the way it does, considering how it was in the morning. I mean, it was an absolute monsoon. And so, I think what adds to the excitement, guys, is that there's not a ton of questions to ask. We've seen this matchup. We've seen it on this exact field just a few weeks ago. We are very familiar with Tony Vitello. We're very familiar with a lot of these pieces, the Liam Doyles, the Andrew Fishers, the Gavin Keelans of the world. We've seen all these guys play. So last week when you're playing Creighton and North Dakota State and potentially Kansas, you have all these questions of, hey, who do we look out for? We know who's going to be on the mound. We know what's at stake. We know how good these teams are. And again, we've already seen this matchup. And so it's just a matter of, we know both of these teams are good. Let's just find out who's a little bit better on the biggest stage in college baseball. Certainly the series to watch this weekend around the country. And we're going to break down this matchup in its entirety. And we're going to talk about how we feel and get into a little bit of our heavy hitters who we think are going to lead the show for the Razorbacks today. But before we do that, I want to remind our listeners about our friends over at Hickey & Hole Law. Divorce and custody cases are too important to try and face alone. Let Hickey & Hole Law provide you with persistent and diligent representation to help guide you through the entire process. They have handled thousands of family law cases and have experienced nearly every scenario that may come up. They push the case forward for their clients, advocating for them in a diligent and consistent manner from start to finish. Hickey & Hole Law have offices throughout the state of Arkansas in Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Little Rock, and Mena. You can call them today at 479-434-2414, or you can check out their website, visit hickeyandhole.com, or you can scan the QR code at the top right of your screen. If you were watching with us on YouTube, it's Hickey & Hole Law. Things are about to get better. Would also like to tell them about our friends over at Trey Barrow Clothing. If you watched us Wednesday,
we look good, man.
We're at the Hog House. We look dapper, which, I hope the family, I'm not going to say any names, the family that's staying at the Hog House this weekend, I do hope they had a good time in Fayetteville. They're certainly staying at a pretty cool location. But I know they don't look as good as we looked in our Trey Barrow clothing the other day. Why spend so much money renting tuxes and suits when you can own the highest quality ones at an affordable price? That's what Trey Barrow clothing can provide for you, whether it's weddings, formals, black tie events. Have Trey Barrow clothing get you looking your best this summer. Check out their entire line on Instagram, or you can check them out at any Dillard's near you. It's Trey Barrow clothing, where they dress the best version of you. So I want to talk about pitching here for a second, guys. Zach Root, of course, on the mound for Arkansas. Been a consistent force in this weekend rotation for Arkansas. Been in the weekend rotation every single week. In fact, I guess he's the only guy who fits that description for this Arkansas team. We knew he was going to be the game one starter. Not a big surprise. Coming off an outing where he had 6 scoreless innings against Creighton, he's going to be on the mound against Marcus Phillips. These two pitchers, the right-hander for Tennessee, Marcus Phillips, the number 65 overall prospect according to MLB Pipeline in this upcoming summer's draft. Root at number 43. So we are seeing two of the best arms in the country, and that is not an exaggeration. That is not something I'm just saying to prop this thing up. These guys are going to make a lot of money throwing the baseball this summer, and so we get to watch them here. And we have seen this matchup before. Neither guy threw particularly well in this matchup. In this exact matchup 3 weeks ago, Zach Root goes 3 2/3, gives up 4 runs on 7 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Marcus Phillips, nearly an identical line, goes a couple more outs, 4 1/3, also allows 7 hits, 3 runs. Got bailed out by his reliever and walked 3, struck out 3. So neither guy really looked like that big-time ace that you expect to see when an arm this talented is on the mound. Coming off of the weekend that Zach Root had, I think it's very important for him to look that part and give Arkansas that stability. For Tennessee, that's been a big part of their formula all year. They don't necessarily have the depth that Arkansas has and that maybe some other SEC teams have had this year, but they really lean on their first 2 starters. Arkansas is going to see Liam Doyle tomorrow. Marcus Phillips is a big part of the equation for Tennessee, and Zach Root, of course, is that for Arkansas. How are we feeling about these 2 arms on the mound and how it shapes up for Arkansas?
Well, I mean, it comes back to the confidence level that you have. You want to see best versus best as far as the national landscape. You want to see the best pitchers go up against the best pitchers, the best hitters go up against the best pitchers, and vice versa. I mean, you want to see all of that. But with what it is right now, guys, for game one, every game's a must win. That's so cliche right now. But it just feels like because of the fact that they're not throwing their ace today with Tennessee, and not to say that Phillips is not capable. He is 100%. But they're not throwing their ace and their catcher's out. It's just like, this is the game that you need to win, man. Like, you got Root, who was phenomenal last week. You got some momentum. You got some confidence. You got your home field advantage for you right here. I just love the fact that you're going to be going up against a solid team, but you're the better team. I mean, you're the better team, and you need to go and prove it. And I don't think it's really matters who's going to be on the mound or whatever. It's a matter of, can Arkansas do what they did last week, do what they're capable of, play their game, don't let any of the pressure or anything get to them. Because if they do that, I think they're going to win. But, if you're a college baseball fan and you love postseason, this is the type of weekend that is going to have all the eyeballs. That's why they got the A-team on the call. That's why they got so many people that are coming into town. We got Barstool Sports writing about them. I mean, for crying out loud, all the Razorback fans and the tickets, I can't remember a time where he had a hotter ticket than town. So if you're just a college baseball connoisseur, it's hard to have a more exciting weekend for matchups, for energy, for coaches, for everything than what it is this weekend.
Yeah, man, no doubt about it. And it is interesting because to the point that you just made, John, we look at this and you're like, okay, Doyle's not pitching today. This is your ace versus their number 2, even though, yes, Phillips is very, very, capable in there. And so you think, man, like, this is the one you really need to get. You call it a must win, call it a, can't, whatever. But we saw this exact same situation a few weeks ago where Arkansas wound up losing this game and they still won the series. Yep. So they've proven that they can figure it out, even if they don't when they have the advantage, quote unquote, when it comes to this pitching matchup. But you're so right, man. And, how often do we talk about, Zach Root being the guy who comes in and sets the tone? And it's not just for a game, it's for an entire weekend. Like, he's really a guy who's able to do that for you. And he's your ace. You're on your home field. When he does his job, it sets up the Razorbacks for a successful weekend. It's almost a foolproof, blueprint plan here. So hopefully we see that from Root in this game. At the end of the day, I think that's why you're here. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's for big games like this. It's shove season, baby. And he did that his last time out, and he's going to be in front of a charged up crowd against a team that I know he would like to have an even better performance again than he did last time, which was not awful, but it's certainly not the best that he's had out there. So we'll see what he brings to the table today.
I know the goal is Omaha, obviously, but if you're Zach Root, if you're Iredale, if you're any of these transfers that came in this year, this is what you came to Arkansas for.
Man.
This is it.
100%. I mean, and Zach Root, the number one pitcher in the portal, they brought him in for this exact type of situation. And like you say, for Zach Root, coming from ECU, which is a damn good baseball program, by the way, it's not like he's a stranger to the postseason, but he wants to be here in front of that big crowd. And Root's a guy that it seemed like really embraced that spotlight last week. I felt like that was the most confident we've seen him. Of course, a little bit easier. He wasn't facing as good of an offense as he's going to face today there in Creighton last week. But I think Zach Root seems to be a guy that he's an experienced veteran. He's got a ton of innings under his belt. He's faced a lot of these best offenses like Tennessee, like LSU, like Georgia. He's had some good moments against all of them. I think that breeds a lot of confidence as well. Marcus Phillips, you know who he reminds me of a little bit for Tennessee? He reminds me of 2018 Isaiah Campbell. And if you're a Hog fan hearing that, you probably take it back and you're like, well, Isaiah Campbell, he was really good. I don't want to face Isaiah Campbell. I'm talking about the Isaiah Campbell that was a little bit up and down for that Arkansas team that made it all the way to the College World Series finals. Campbell in that postseason had a tale of two everythings. I mean, it was just complete. It was all over the map. He's a guy that has the stuff, has the capability to go out there and shut down any offense, which is what Isaiah Campbell did against Florida in the College World Series. He also has that capability of getting roughed up a little bit. And maybe there's like a mental block. And I think for Campbell, when I think back at his Arkansas career, it took him a while to get over that hump and become that confident, precise version of himself that knew he could go out there and get the best teams in the country out. Marcus Phillips has had some good outings. His outing last week, he goes 6 innings, battles through, only allows 3 runs. And that was in a game 2, a big pivotal game 2. I thought that was a big moment for him. I've heard Tony Vitello reference it. Every time he talks about Marcus Phillips, he says he needs to have that self-belief. And that tells me that it's kind of not a question mark, but something that he has to battle through. And so I think it's up to this Arkansas team in this same stadium that they hit him pretty well before. They had him on the ropes there. Can they finish the job? Can they really land that first blow of this series? I think it's going to be very important. One thing that I think about, because we've referenced that game 1 a lot where we literally saw Root versus Phillips, and so we have a good idea of what to expect. Another big ingredient for that game, Tennessee went to A.J. Russell, one of their top bullpen arms, who I compared kind of to Gabe Gackle. Gabe Gackle also pitched in that game, did not pitch very well. As good as Gabe Gackle has been in the bullpen, his worst outing came against this same Tennessee Volunteer team, and so that's going to be interesting to see. Arkansas, of course, last week didn't really have to throw their relievers into high leverage, big situations. They were able to kind of go according to script. Tennessee was the opposite end where they had to throw all of their best arms in every possible high leverage situation you can imagine. We'll see who that favors here in this matchup, but I think a big part of what's going to happen in this game, you look at the starting pitching matchup, which is of course a big deal because that's what starts the entire game. But both of these teams have completely rested, ready to roll bullpens. It's going to be interesting to see how both coaches navigate that, how the score dictates. Obviously if you're up 5-4, it's easy to go to Gabe Gackle. Do you go to Gabe Gackle when it's 2-2? Do you go to him when you're down in the game? And so it's going to be very important to see how that battle plays out because you're always doing that game of, all right, they use this guy. How does the bullpen factor into this game is going to be fascinating.
Now, I'm not trying to upset Razorback fans in saying this, but I want to be real. Just keeping it real here, all right? But I believe right now, and I've said this, Tony Vitello is the best coach in college baseball right now. But Dave Van Horn's right behind him. But Arkansas, team-wise, roster-wise, has the best roster in the country, but Tennessee's right behind them. So it's truly that small margin between the two teams of one may be a little bit better of a coach, or at least right now it is, but you got one that's a little bit better of the roster. So which is going to balance out the decision-making, as you made a point of, like, what is Dave and Tony V going to do? Because to me, guys, you can sit there, you talk about hitting, pitching, all that. Players got to go out and play. That's up to them. You can't, like Dave Van Horn, if Zach Root struggles today, it's not like Dave did something during the week to make him struggle. It's going to be they have to go play. But the real key factor in this is going to be the chess match. Who they know each other very well. They know each other about what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. When are they going to make those decisions? When are they going to decide, hey, let's keep this guy going, or hey, do we scale him back? When are they going to decide of, all right, well, we want to go with this closer because of this particular matchup? Like, it's the chess match that I think you really got to appreciate and enjoy because, there's a lot of great supers going on right now. But when it comes to the coaching matchup, these may be the two best teams, but also the two best coaches going at it as well.
Yeah, and I like what you said there about a chess match, and it is that. And I wonder if Arkansas, from a pitching staff and bullpen standpoint, has more pieces on the board.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we talk about Zach Root, kind of setting the tone the way that he does. But your offense can also set the tone. And I think back to the regional last weekend. I know it's completely different levels of competition, but what really impressed me about Arkansas's lineup is their approach. They were so patient
Yes.
with everything there. And, if they weren't expanding the zone for much, if it was something they didn't like, they spit on it, and then they ambushed the meat. And there was a lot of meat thrown at them. So, if they're able to do that in a game, and obviously, Phillips is a guy who's got a live arm, and he's a lot more talented. But if you can have that same approach, chase him a little bit early, like you did in this last game, that was a big part of the recipe the last time Tennessee came in here, because you got into that bullpen, and they've got some really good arms in there too. But I don't know that they have as many that they trust as Arkansas does. And when they had to burn through so many of them in game one, that's something that can really play dividends as the rest of the weekend carries on. So it's something to keep a lookout for as well.
Yeah, you mentioned chess match, and part of what makes this chess match so intriguing is the familiarity. Like you say, the coaches know each other, but also, again, these teams have played. We have like all the mystery of, hey, what's it like hitting against Gabe Gackle? Those guys at Tennessee know what that's like. What's it like hitting against Marcus Phillips and Liam Doyle? Arkansas knows what that's like. These coaches also know what it means when you put in a guy, when you mentioned the chess match, like when you put in your top arm, that says something, and that's a big deal. Like all these moments are so big, and I think when you compare it to last weekend where Arkansas was facing Creighton and North Dakota State, obviously different levels of competition, completely different levels of familiarity as well.
Yeah, and real quick, I can only keep bringing up this example, but the last time these teams played, I still bring up the Will McIntyre thing, where I remember when Will was coming into the game 3, not to say that everyone was like, oh gosh, this is terrible, but there was a little bit of uncertainty. We're like, man, I don't know, Dave. Like, you got these other guys. Like, this is such a big moment. This is a big series. And Will just absolutely smashed. Now, is it because of the fact that you had Dave like, oh, well, I got into Will's head and I knew that he was going to be elite like that? No, but I think that it goes into what I think Bubba Carpenter even said it of. There was this pitching style of Will against that matchup with that lineup, and Dave just knew, hey, this is going to be good. So those are the things where, if you're going to get Root should be good no matter what. Gage Wood should be good no matter what. But that was bullpen, those closers, who are you going to decide on? Could we see Will McIntyre come in and have success again? That would be great. But yeah, those are the fascinating decisions that's going to keep everybody on edge. And don't worry, Andrew, as soon as they bring in a pitcher and he gives up a hit, get him out. That's what the fans are going to be. Get him out. Sucks. He's not ready. Dave, what are you doing? Decision. Horrible decision. We just got to prepare ourselves for that.
I think a common theme this weekend that we're going to talk about is just the talent level of, there's so many really good baseball players. 13 of the top 200 prospects in this upcoming draft are going to be on the field in Baum Walker this weekend. It's unreal. And you're facing both offenses are so dangerous and are capable of making these really good pitchers look bad. They've done it a little bit. And I know Arkansas put up 8 runs on Liam Doyle, but going back to the point you made, Curtis, of making those starting pitchers work, I think that's such a huge key because Arkansas, when they're at their best, even if the pitcher is able to get through 3, 4, 5 innings and maybe only gives up 2 or 3 runs, he has to really grind and stress over every out. And that's what Arkansas did so well last week. Speaking of these offenses, there are only 5 teams in the NCAA who average more than 2 home runs per game. Arkansas and Tennessee are among them. They are actually tied at 2.03 home runs per game, which actually I crunched the numbers. Arkansas has played 4 fewer games, and they have 8 fewer home runs. So on average,
it's about the same.
They are averaging more, right? Because it's like 2.03. That's higher than 2, technically, right? On the NCAA website, they're listed as tied at 4th. They are the 2 highest slugging percentages remaining in this tournament. Georgia was the only SEC team above. They obviously pooped their pants last weekend. And I think when you have these offenses, you mentioned him going to Will McIntyre, you don't really get to be picky. It's a pretty simple equation. Can you get these guys out? If so, go take the mound. Yep. And if you can't, I'm going to take you off that mound. It's pretty crazy. And so we're going to talk about offense. I think it's a big theme is Arkansas is going to have to match that firepower. They're fully capable. I mean, both of these teams, top 2 or 3 in the SEC in every statistical category you can imagine. And so we want to make our predictions of who's going to be the guys that step up. And, there's so many names to choose from in this Arkansas Razorback lineup. But we're going to try and predict our HD Roofing and Construction heavy hitters. And for those of you that do not know, today's heavy hitter segment is brought to you by HD Roofing and Construction. Storms can hit unexpectedly, as we figured out literally last night.
Every morning,
the day before.
apparently. Yeah.
Every morning, and then it clears up by 10 a.m. I'm okay with that. But storms can hit unexpectedly, so be sure to contact HD Roofing for your peace of mind with a free inspection. When you choose HD Roofing, you can rely on professionalism, top quality materials, and expert installation for all of your roofing needs. Check out hdarkansas.com for more info. Curtis, you are the reigning HD Roofing and Construction winner. You correctly predicted that Justin Thomas Jr. was going to be the HD Roofing and Construction heavy hitter in Sunday's regional final. He has the big 3-run home run, which I feel like wasn't the it was like I don't know if you can call it a dagger. In basketball, you have that huge 3 with like a minute left that kind of seals it. Once Arkansas got, I believe it was a 5-0 lead, you kind of knew it was over. Justin Thomas Jr., who's been a stud for Arkansas in the 9-hole. Are you going back to the well? I'm going to let you start first. Where are you going for your HD roofing and construction heavy hitter?
I would love to go back to the well, but I'm going to save that one. I'm going to keep it in my back pocket just in case. I'm going to go with Charles Davlin. You know, the last time Arkansas played Tennessee and went up against Phillips, we were all in there watching it together. And, just real quickly to go back to what we were talking about on making him work, that's exactly what Arkansas did in that game. I was so impressed, and they didn't touch him up a whole bunch there. And to your point, Andrew, it felt like he was maybe on the verge of that happening, and they got him out of there. But, man, nothing came easy for him. Every single at-bat was a grind for him. And it was Davlin who had that 2-run RBI in the second inning that got Arkansas back on top after they fell behind 1-0 and set the tone. He had a couple hits in that game. So the familiarity, he's already gotten a big hit off of this guy. I'm going to predict him to do it again.
John, I believe you were up next if we're going in order here.
Yeah, because, I usually call him correctly every single time. So I'm sorry for doing this to you, Big Country, but Reese Robinette is mine. I think that we talked about last week, the amount of different spots they have on this lineup where there's just no weakness. Logan Maxwell was a guy that was great last week. You had Aloy get back to it, Vivo Aloy get back to it and hitting home runs. Ryder Helfrich, just out there, which I know he had. It's just there's so many to choose from. But I'm going to go with one that's almost like who gets talked about, and then, next week it may change. So I'm going to go with Reese Robinette. Not to say that he was bad last week or anything, but he just wasn't a guy that got talked about a lot. He's capable of it. I think Big Country's going to go out there and showcase himself. The boys went fishing yesterday, caught some big fish. They're locked in, ready to roll, and I feel like the Big Country's going to be the guy.
Curtis knows this because he used to be a high-level arm back in the day.
True, yeah.
Big lefty, big southpaw.
Randy Johnson, if you will.
And me being a high-level pitcher myself back in the day, I know it's stressful when you're facing a lineup that Charles Davlin at the top. That's a tough AB right there. That's one you have to really lock in on. You don't want to have ducks on the pond when Vahiva Lloyd comes up. He's hitting second. Cam Kojal's or Logan Maxwell's been in that 3 spot for a while. Just a consistent, solid left-handed bat. Arkansas's got so many guys with power that you kind of, even a guy like Bernardo, when he's struggling, you have to be conscious of that. I think Big Country is the guy that a lot of these teams look at, and just by default, they say, okay, this is kind of our easy out here. Not as much experience as some of these guys. Only has 2 home runs on the year. They both came in that Texas game. He's mostly in there for his defense at first base. He's a guy that can hurt you, and a little bit boomer bust like a lot of these guys in this Razorback lineup, but I like that pick because I think he's one of those guys that you might get through Cam Kojal. You might get through Vahiva Aloy. You might get through Ryder Helfrich, and then you maybe and then you just lob a meatball to Reese Robinette, and he can hurt you.
Don't get comfortable.
Nope.
One guy that I think, I'm going back to the well a little bit, even though it didn't really work out. Although Bernardo did have a good game 3.
Solid.
I think he walked a couple times. Then he got hit by a pitch. I guess he got on base 4 times. I'll give myself a dub for that one. I'm going back to the Brent Iredale well here. I think this series, Brent Iredale is, a lot of Hog fans. If you ask 10 Hog fans about him, you're going to have 5 that kind of groan and then 5 that are like, oh, yeah, I like Brent Iredale. Because he's that kind of guy where he's boom or bust. He is what this lineup, he's kind of the epitome of that, where he likes to do his damage. He's looking to go deep sea fishing. He's not looking to poke one through the right side for a single. He's either getting walked, he's striking out, or he's hitting the ball 112 miles an hour. It's kind of one of those 3 things. I think this series actually kind of lines up well for that kind of skill set here. We talked a lot about how last week the pitching staffs that Arkansas were facing didn't really strike out opponents that much. No. Tennessee, by the way, leads the country with 12 strikeouts per 9 innings. You look at the ERAs and stuff, and you may say, oh, this is not that great of a pitching staff. There's some big-time strikeout stuff, a lot of velocity, and that's kind of the question mark for Brent Iredale. Can he hit that high fastball? Can he hit that inside pitch? He's a guy that, like I said, is not looking to hit to all different parts of the field. He's looking for one pitch in one location, and he wants to have that big 3-run home run. I think this type of series is perfectly set up for him to maybe go 1 for 4, but have that huge game-changing swing. The wind could be maybe pushing the ball out. The sun has come out. Air might be conducive to some more offensive conditions this week. I'm going to go with Brent Iredale. One, because I think he's just due. He's done a lot of damage for this Razorback lineup so far. He's down in that 7th spot in the lineup, too, so I kind of like that spot for him, where there's a little bit less pressure, but he's got over 65 RBIs on the year. This is a guy that can drive in runs in a big-time way. I like him. I don't know if he's going to go 7 for 11, but I think he's going to have a couple swings in this series that really change the game in a big way. Well, let's get into the chat now, and let's see what Razorback Nation has to say, because I'm sure they're buzzing and thrilled to talk with us. We want to shout out Aiden Watson, who is a new member.
Just want to say, sorry, not to interrupt, but LSU's already in trouble, Andrew, against West Virginia.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
It hit the ace in the wrist for LSU.
Oh, Cade Anderson. Cade Anderson having to throw a few warm-up pitches to make sure he's fine.
Uh-oh.
By the way, Anthony Ionson's just better than Cade Anderson.
Yeah.
Cade Anderson's projected to go top 5, and he's very, very good. I mean, he's a lefty that throws 96. Nothing to scoff at. Zach Root outpitched him in Baton Rouge. I've seen it with my own eyes. Anthony Ionson's the one that, if I'm Arkansas, I'm hoping they don't throw him in game 1 of Omaha. So Cade Anderson getting hurt actually might be a bad development for Arkansas if they had to face LSU in game 1. But
sorry to take away your thunder, Aiden.
No, you're all good. Well, Aiden, I'm actually kind of wondering what took Aiden so long, because he's been in the chat for years. I mean, he's been with us for a while, but he became a member today.
Thanks, man.
He's been saving up money so that he could become a member, and finally reached his quota. So good for that. Tunas House of Influence says that video of a Vol fan going Diddy mode on that hog is blasphemous.
Oh, gosh.
Guess they have to go that route since they give Rocky Top. Wow, that's That's a lot of sexual innuendos there.
That's
John,
actually well done.
Do you want to explain to the people what he is referencing here?
I'm not even going to explain. I'm just going to have y'all watch it real quick. So this video is going viral on social media here. Let's check this out. This is what a volunteer thinks of the pig right here. I mean, this he is literally committing bestiality with a Razorback. That's rough.
How dare you soil our precious pig? Who do you think you are?
It's
Seriously,
a good-looking pig.
It's disgusting.
Kidding me?
Like this is the type of behavior like that Tony Vitello allows. You know, this is the type of stuff that this is the type of program he has put together. But you know what? That's disgusting, and there's just no place for it in the game.
Culture starts at the top. You're right. Tony Vitello is directly to blame for that video.
100%.
Shout out to Landon Jackson. The Razorback defensive end. I do not believe this is him, but Landon Jackson did drop us a super chat. We appreciate you, Landon. He says, I get there are some people mad about the fact that we are playing arguably our best competition in the supers, but at least you're getting the best at home versus on a neutral site, which I do think is a valid point.
I mean, shout out to Peter Burns. You guys probably saw that earlier today. But there's been 12, or this will be the 12th SEC versus SEC super regional, and the home team is 110 of 11.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
You know,
it is interesting. You know, it's also interesting because I saw Stu Hogg, I believe, put out a graphic that said it was like when SEC teams that played in the regular season play in a super, the team that won the regular season one is 12-6.
Really?
Which is a number that I was a little bit surprised about, and I just didn't know for sure. Arkansas has been in this situation twice in the last decade. They split those, or they won both, but Ole Miss had beaten them at home, weirdly enough. In 2019, it was like the first home series loss for Arkansas in like 3 years. And then they wound up losing to Arkansas in a super regional. Arkansas had beaten South Carolina and then beat them in the super regional. So I didn't know, like, all I know is Arkansas. I don't know how everyone else is doing, but those are two encouraging numbers, I guess, if you're trying to talk yourself into this series. Tunas House of Influence comes back and says, congratulations, Curtis, on that new Head and Shoulders contract. Guess that means you can't shave it if we win the whole thing. What is he referencing?
I have no idea.
That is weird.
I really thought y'all would know what he was referencing.
I have the least amount of hair, so I don't think I get the shampoo contract.
Gotcha.
You know,
I didn't know if this was an inside joke between you and Tuna or not.
I thought maybe y'all knew.
No, I just thought that maybe he's just like, hey, I'm just going to say something random,
or maybe he meant to say Andrew. So I don't know.
Y'all think Tuna's House of Influence is related to Colin Fisher in any way? Big Tuna?
Maybe. I can see it.
I'd love to see Colin Fisher pitch today, which would mean that Arkansas was up about 15-2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. Shout out to Carmaduke. He always brings the good vibes. He says, just grilled up a nice ribeye, enjoying it with a local Shreveport beer, watching the other inferior teams battle it out for the chance to lose to Arkansas next week. Love that. You said local Shreveport beer. Are you in Shreveport, Carmaduke? Are you a boot boy? I didn't realize you were. I had a fellow boot hog in the chat.
Yeah,
but
it's Shreveport or Bossier City, man. You going out there and getting you a drive-through daiquiri? You know, what's the thing to do?
In the state of Louisiana is big on drive-through daiquiris.
Yeah.
It's also big on people peeling out of random parking lots really loudly. It's like people don't do that in Northwest Arkansas as much as like I thought that was like a thing that happened everywhere. Apparently, it's just rednecks in Louisiana that do that. I don't know.
They're big on Tony Sacheries too.
Did they do that back in your hometown, Curtis?
A little bit of that.
A little peeling out of Walmart just to send a message.
Of course.
Always the loudest way possible.
You know where Louisiana folks don't like to drive? Country roads.
They don't because they're down
1-0 right now.
Because they're down 1-0 to West Virginia. That was
I understood that reference.
You like that? Good.
Yeah, that was a good one.
At first, I was sitting there. I was like, "What is this a reference?" And then I realized, okay. Curtis,
Yes.
we had a little. We're gonna do a little bit of a very quick basketball segment.
Okay.
Because Shane Benbrook says, Curtis, Igor,
You like that, do you?
you like that?
You like that? Yeah, Big Russian, man. We'll see what happens here, but sounding like Arkansas might be on the verge of making another addition that everybody thought that they weren't going to do. But we tried to tell you, just be patient and good things happen. Igor Rizov, 6'11", animal on the glass, super athletic. He'll dunk it on your head, and trending towards Arkansas.
Love that.
Who needs that random soft transfer that was sitting the bench at Illinois or wherever the hell? Go get you a grown man from Mother Russia.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
I also like that you called him a big Russian man. He's not a Russian big man. He's a big Russian man.
That's right. Yeah,
Yes.
that's exactly right.
Good
That's
wording.
Exactly right.
I like
wording.
that a lot. Shout out to Ricky V for the super chat. We appreciate you. He says, let's okay some Vols ass.
Just
Was that supposed to be kick?
I hope it's not something else.
I mean,
But
okay,
we appreciate it, Ricky.
Thanks, Ricky.
we appreciate that. Richard Reed, not Reed Richards. He says, this is not going to be an easy win, no matter how confident some of us feel. This series is going to be decided in Game 3 and will be worthy of an Omaha World Series championship game. I am inclined to agree with Richard Reed. I mean, look, they have played 3 baseball games. None have been particularly, lopsided. They've all come down to the wire for the most part. All required some big pitching performances. I mean, Christian Fouch had to come up with a big 2-inning save for Arkansas. Cole Gibbler had to pitch his nuts off in that game, too, against Tennessee. Will McIntyre, of course, had to shut the door, and Arkansas ends up winning that game by 4. The game that Tennessee won is pretty close. And so, I think if anyone's expecting this to be a beatdown, not saying it can't happen. Both of these teams are very good. Both of these teams are very capable of making the other look really bad. I'm inclined to agree with Richard. I don't think this is a big there's not going to be a ton of separation here.
Well, let me say this too about this, because I was saying how confident I'm feeling, which I am. I'm not just saying it for the sake of saying it. But here's been my understanding and viewpoint of it. I would, if you think you're going to win, if you're Arkansas, if you think you're going to win this as a fan, and you don't, are you going to be disappointed? Of course you are. If you think Arkansas is not going to win, you're trying to play it safe, and they lose, are you going to be disappointed? Yes. So no matter what happens, if you lose, you're going to be disappointed. I'd rather have fun and feel confident going into it than just feel down and dirty and not like having fun and enjoying myself. That's my take. That's the way I'm going to approach it. I want to feel good about it going into it. I don't want to stress. I want to feel like the better team, and I feel like Arkansas is.
Yeah, I think they are too. And I'm with you, Andrew, and I agree with Richard that it feels like this might have a Game 3 written all over it. I would rather not live in that world. Yeah, let's just take care of business and be done with it. We've experienced elimination games before, and I don't want to feel that way again. Like the outcome, if it goes your way, that's great, but it's nerve-wracking, and I dang sure don't want to go down in Game 1 and have to do it twice. Like miss me with that. Let's get it done today and take it from there.
A lot of times when you're trying to predict the path, you're always saying, okay, this will be riskier, but it'll be more rewarding.
Yeah.
In this particular case, that doesn't really apply. Like, I think winning 2-0 would be every bit, if not more rewarding than going to a Game 3.
Sounds good to me. Sounds good.
Whereas I think we're all on the same page. We're glad Tennessee made it to this spot. Obviously, it's going to be a harder series. Arkansas could lose. That's what sucks about it. But that's going to make this series more fun. You don't need that Game 3 for it to be a fun series. We can have plenty of fun in 2 days.
That's
if you don't believe me, watch.
Yeah, and I'm telling you this right now. If I have to see any of these orange bastards dogpiling on my pitcher's mound this weekend, I am sacrificing. I'm sacrificing Hayden Ulmer over here.
Yeah.
I'm putting him up to the gods, and we're going to sacrifice him because that just cannot happen. Will not happen. Not this weekend. What do we say to death? Not today. Not this weekend.
I am the storm.
There we go.
Yep.
I like that. Curtis, we got some more basketball, actually. I know it was quick.
I know,
but
man.
we do. But there's just a lot of basketball stuff going on right now. Hog On, it says just slight basketball news, but Houston at MSG is pretty fire. You want to talk about what he's referencing here?
Well, yeah, shout out to Cal. I guess he dropped that bomb at his father-son, or maybe it's father-daughter camp today, I think. But I guess he put that out there that Arkansas is going to be going back to Madison Square Garden, which he said he wanted to do every single year. Was there for that Michigan game, and it was just incredible. The amount of Razorback fans that came out there was absolutely nuts. And it's a bucket list place to go. But seeing Houston there, my goodness, man. I mean, you think about a team that is coming off of a championship game appearance, and they've got a lot coming back, and it's Kelvin Sampson, so they're going to be big and tough and old and physical. You want to talk about a way for these young Hogs, like your freshman backcourt, Darius Acuff and Malik Thomas, to grow up. They'll learn a lot from a game like that. That would be absolutely electric. And so if you add that to, the Baylor game, that we're expecting to have at home, the Duke game on the neutral side in Chicago. You're going to have an ACC team coming into Bud Walton Arena. You add that, this is going to be an absolute beast, man. So I'm glad these guys are on campus. I'm glad they're on the verge here of adding another piece to the front court. And they better get to business, man, because it's going to be a tough one.
Let's just go ahead and get it out of the way for you Kentucky fans out there. Yeah, classic Cal. Get used to it. Scheduling tough opponents in cool spots.
Yeah. What are we talking about
Cal.
here?
You got to go all the way to New York to watch your team play, man.
Get used to it.
You know what they'll say? They'll just be like, well, at Kentucky, he hardly ever won the Champions Classic. And then we'll be like, well, he beat Michigan last year. I don't know. It's pretty – we had a good time.
Wild, yeah.
Vince for me has a baseball prediction for today. He says, Root giving us 5 good innings. Gap gives us 3. Fouch closes. Interesting order here, but I also don't think it's that crazy. You know, a lot of times you think of your best reliever, your closer, and you think, okay, that's an 8th or 9th inning thing. If it's a 5-4 game in the 6th inning, I think you probably would see Gabe Gackle in that situation. I don't think Arkansas would want to mess around and wait. I think if you have a lead 3 or less at any point in this game, Gabe Gackle is a candidate to come in. And then sometimes like if in this scenario that Vince for me is detailing, I'd like to think that means Arkansas, it's 4-3 or 5-4, whatever. They add a few runs. You bring in Fouch for 1 inning with the 4-run lead. Gackle did his job. Great stuff.
I'm so excited to see, guys like Fouch, guys like Gibbler who didn't pitch last weekend. And we talk about the rest versus rust thing, but you would much rather be on the rested side of that equation as opposed to be, worn out from being overextended the weekend before or something. But it's going to be fascinating to see because they're going to be fresh. Stuff is going to be live. There's going to be some a little bit more up to it, some electricity in the arm, and so it's about kind of balancing that and feeling great with the emotion and the magnitude and the intensity of the moment. I can't wait to see what those guys look like because it could be you come in there and they're unhittable, or it could be they're a little too juiced up. They haven't thrown in a while, so you've got that combination of things, and then what that can lead to sometimes is overdoing it, being a little too amped up. Walking guys, putting them on base. So there's a balance to be had between feeling great and managing that emotion when you just haven't done anything for a couple weeks, and then you get thrown into a situation where the pressure is ratcheted up at an all-time high. It's gonna be cool to watch. You
know who took my advice? Dave Van Horn and Matt Hobbs.
Did they do
my
it?
Advice.
Good.
Tuesday. He said they got some of their hitters that have not been hitting, some of their pitchers that have not been pitching, and they did it. They said with Fouch, he just was like, hey, you're gonna face 2 hitters and get 2 outs. He's like, if that takes you 10 pitches, 15 pitches, 4 pitches, just face 2 hitters. Like just get warm. And they did it out on the field too, instead of in the indoor, which is where I thought they might do it.
So Biggs and Pepe against
yes, I should have asked, be like, hey, how did it go? K up against Fouch or what? Shout out to Hickory Hog for the super chat. We appreciate you, brother. He says, if the root is holy, so are the branches. This is great. I've been tweeting this out a lot. So I'm glad that the memo is getting out there.
Good.
And it's what we've been saying. You get good root, you get good Razorbacks. If the root is holy, so are the branches. I really like that. No Sheep Sherlock, who's been increasing his activity over here on the Baumbastic Podcast lately, says, I feel like we have way more talent than Tennessee and should be an easy win. I mean, their team is just full of volunteers. I guess this is a joke. But I did want to point out, and we talked about talent. That's one thing Tennessee does have. Of all the things we can nitpick, talent is not one of them. And matter of fact, if you were looking at just from pure talent index, Tennessee's the only team that is really – LSU's close, but I think Arkansas has a pretty decided advantage in talent there, like a comfortable one. Tennessee is the only team left in this tournament that you have to even think about it. And there are some other talented teams, but a couple of them play each other in Corvallis this weekend. So it is kind of annoying, but you play the cards you're dealt. HH says he likes the collared shirt from C-Dub. Business-like approach today. Yeah, you're wearing real clothes, buddy. What's going on with that?
Yeah, I mean, no funny business. We're not here to play games. I mean, they are going to play a game, but they're taking it very seriously. So am I. But I'm going with the same combination that I did last weekend, right? So tomorrow it'll be back to the red Razorback shirt, and then if they go to a game 3, we'll go back to the white.
Yep. That's what I'm doing too with my
my
Razorback baseball jersey from Alumni Hall right here, and the hats. Everything's the same. Taking it the same way, no matter what.
I like that. Arkansas Pig Poner 69 says I predict Ryder Helfrich to be the heaviest hitter of them all. I predict him to be better than Coastal Carolina catcher from last night to seal the deal at 2 a.m. I like that. I did not stay up to watch the Coastal game. I did see they end up beating Auburn. Sorry, Quinn. We had to bring it up. But
yeah, it's tough.
Their catcher do anything crazy?
mean, I didn't see.
I guess he hit the go ahead.
Yeah, let's say it was a late one because of the rain delay. I only saw highlights of it, but yeah, that was a tough look.
Gotcha. Duke says he thinks the Tennessee backup catcher gives us a big advantage. There's definitely something to this, especially with the way that Cannon Peebles hit the ball in Fayetteville the last time they were here.
Yeah,
with the Hog Call breaking out, guys.
I know.
I was a little nervous that we were going to get a John Sucks chant again.
Well, don't worry, that'll come later.
I wasn't nervous about it.
I'd say anticipating. Yeah, I'd say people are probably looking forward to that one if that's the case. But yeah, got a Hog Call. Which, by the way, I want to make. While we're doing this, shout out to Cheryl for the Rick's Bakery. Very nice of her.
Awesome.
Yep, so that was awesome. She came up to us and gave us some awesome goodies here for our sugar rush. Shout out to our guy Nick of Inside Arkansas. Helps us out with our website and everything.
Still over there.
Yeah. He decided to roll in with his Rod Hog hat from Fayetteville Flyco. So
it's clean, man.
That's an electric hat.
Yep,
man.
really appreciate him. So just want to give a few shout outs during that Hog Call.
I like that. You might know better than me. I would imagine you did. That backup catcher for Tennessee, how much has he played? And then I believe I read somewhere that he has caught Phillips a good handful of times this year, but not Doyle.
He has. I mean, and obviously early in the years when you're really mixing in catchers, Peebles has been, since the conference play really got going, he's the guy, and his usage has been a lot lower. But early in the year, every time Marcus Phillips would pitch, he'd usually, like Arkansas did that with Zane Becker, where he'd catch about one game a weekend early in the year. He was basically Phillips' guy. Arkansas likes to do that a lot. We got another Hog Call. Double Hog Call.
Both sides of the house.
Yeah, that's what it was. We had the room over there. Now we've got a Hog Call over here. Do you think everybody can hear that stream?
They probably can. At least a little bit. But shout out to a guy, Harold over here, over 90 years old. I heard he got here. Appreciate you, my man. He got here at 7 o'clock this morning at Foghorns. They don't open till 11, but he was here at 7 a.m. So shout out to him, man. That was all. He's a true one.
According to our guy Cody, who is no longer. No, this is not Cody James. This is Cody Buckner. Cody James, who was like a real basketball guy. Perhaps Cody Buckner as well. But he says he's caught Phillips 9 or 16 times.
Oh, okay.
Which would check out. I mean, definitely. I think it was like the first 4 or 5 straight of the season or something like that. So he's played a good bit. Now he definitely doesn't bring the offense that Cannon Peebles brought in Fayetteville. He's not necessarily
like a 220 hitter, but he hit that nuke.
Right. But no, it's certainly a factor. I love that Tony V was like, that's not going to factor into the decision to start Phillips at all. And then he just straight up lied.
Yeah, I was cracking up because we were sitting pretty close down there by home plate for Game 1 of that Tennessee series last time, and the crowd had kind of thinned out at that point, and we had those kids who were heckling right up there, and Peebles hit that home run. And the guy was like, "Congratulations on getting your average of 221."
Hey, you know what that guy also said? That heckler, he said, "You can win this one, but we're gonna win the next 2." He was
right. Yeah, hopefully he says the same thing again today.
Shout out to our guy Hayden Ulmer, who again is with us here in Foghorns. He says, "Give me Maxwell 2 long ball night." Now, if you remember, Logan Maxwell hit 2 home runs in the regional final against Creighton. So Hayden is predicting a 4-homer stretch here for Logan Maxwell. Which is crazy because about 3 months ago, if you had told me Logan Maxwell was going to have 2 home runs in a game, I would have been like, dude's got 3 home runs in his career. Are you sure? But now Logan Maxwell, slugger, man. He got on that weight program with Hunter Bell, and he's all of a sudden just a nuke hitter.
Well, I'm just telling you, I mean, I don't know. He may be hammered already too, though. So it's going to be a long day for him.
I am glad that we got to his chat after you said he was going to be the sacrificial lamb if it doesn't go well.
That was crazy that you offered him up on the platter.
Well, I mean, that's what he gets, though. I mean,
he killed a good man.
Yeah, well, that's going to be that's what's going to happen. I mean, it's just going to be the case. And also, too, as he says, I've told him before, he doesn't drink moderately. He just has a case of it in the back of his car.
That's what I'm talking about.
But yeah, he's going to have a good time. We're having a good time. Listen, just real quick, Foghorns, they're the realest ones, man. We are always going to mess with Foghorns. They were awesome to us, letting us come here, hang out here, and do pregame, post games. They've been so accommodating to us. And I'm just going to say this real quick. There were some certain things that were transpiring that was going to try to sabotage or at least try to get some insider stuff over here, and it wasn't happening. Because when you come for the king, you best not miss. So shout out to Foghorns for always being Team Inside Arkansas over everybody.
Yeah.
And we are always going to be very appreciative of them each and every time.
Try again, Baldy. I thought me and Carmaduke were he. By the way, he confirmed he's in Bossier. He's been here since 2020, which is nice.
What's the casino down there, by the way? They have like 3.
Well, they got a Margaritaville.
That's what it is.
I think that's in Bossier.
What's up, man?
Oh, hey, what's going on, man?
How you doing?
going on,
Good,
man?
buddy.
Doing great. Doing great.
Shout out to this young man who's the camera cannot see. Dude is absolutely electric, bringing the energy behind home plate.
That's what I'm talking
every
about.
game.
Let's go.
You gonna be behind home plate today?
Good.
Dude is
good,
electric. Electric watching a game next to this guy, man. He brings the energy to Baum Walker better than anybody, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep bringing it today. All right.
Absolutely,
all right.
brother.
Keep bringing it today.
Appreciate you, brother. Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Shout out. He's got his own YouTube channel. Shout it out. What's his name? Razorback who?
Razorbacks
Razorbacks
Rule.
Rule.
Okay.
Shout out to Razorbacks Rule on YouTube. Go check out his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
That's
Appreciate
good
you,
stuff.
buddy.
See you, buddy.
But no, I thought me and Carmaduke were like we're on a good. We found out we were boot boys and all that. I thought we were on good terms. He comes in with a Star Wars sucks. What the hell?
Whoa.
Where did that come from, Carmaduke? What? Star Wars sucks.
Long hair sucks. Like everything that Andrew, like Houston sucks. Like you just gotta come in with everything
that
that
was
you.
crazy.
Yeah,
Man.
come on, man. Come on, Carmaduke. Take another beer.
He does believe JT is coming. By the way, shout out to Hillary, who I'm going to try and sneak her in the game today somehow, some way. Shout out to Hillary, who made me a shirt that I will be debuting tomorrow.
All right.
And it relates to JT coming.
Okay.
Good deal.
Okay.
No,
yeah.
Relax.
I got you.
It's just welcome song.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good.
Criminy.
Shout out to Vids for me. Says Kojal going to have a big night. Yeah. I mean, if there's a baseball game being played, Kojal's going to hit a laser.
He's good for it.
And if there's a pond with fish in it, he's going to catch them.
Yep.
That's by the way, he was critiquing the players' techniques fishing
Like
the
their
other day.
cast.
He said Bernard Iredale. He said you'll be. Guess what he said about Bernard Iredale's fishing? He said he's real patient as a fisherman.
Go figure.
I was like, yeah, of course
Yeah.
he is. But he said Cahillo, again, you'll be stunned to hear this. He said Cahillo, anytime he feels anything, he starts yanking about as hard as he swings the bat. He's just one of those guys. As soon as he feels something, he's like, all right, let's go. Which I love hearing
good.
that. Yeah. And by the way, Charles Davlon confirmed that he had never fished before because he's from Montreal. He's a city boy.
What's going, man?
What's going on, man?
It's my guy Patrick Necessary, by the way. I know nobody can see him on camera, but he's a good gentleman.
Cody follows up with also the lineups for pitching are the same they were for the regular season finale. I don't know why some national pundits are saying we need to prepare for that. Yeah, I mean, like it's definitely not like. Also, when Liam Doyle pitched on Monday, we all immediately started talking about it, and we were like, "Oh, so does that mean he's not pitching game one?" Like we all started doing the math, and like Cody says, very much similar to how it played out in the regular season. So it's like it really, honestly, was. I didn't even feel like it was that big of a storyline coming into this because it just seemed like how it would play out. Shout out to our guy Chef Boy Arley, who drops us a super chat. He says, "What that boy Landon Jackson say? F of all hogs and two."
Man.
He's referring this time. We are referring to the defensive end at Arkansas.
Yes.
Now of the Bills, Landon Jackson, who had some words to say after Arkansas beat Tennessee in football. If Arkansas football can beat Tennessee, can Arkansas baseball?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Arkansas basketball and Tennessee basketball. I know they took the L the first game of this. It was the first game of SEC play, right?
Yeah.
They would have played again though. Arkansas would have gotten that dub. So you're lucky.
Yeah.
You're lucky.
I like that.
Just saying.
Like that. I want to shout out the Ladner fam. They say sup Drew. These are my nephews and niece. They have their YouTube channel. They've been crushing it.
They call you Drew?
They do. My sisters are the only people in the world who call me Drew, and now they reproduced, and so now their children call me Drew, which I don't hate because it's Uncle Drew sounds cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
And in their context, but I don't like being called Drew in just real life. Though.
Okay, just been done.
I am Pierce Andrew Wells Ellis.
The reason
I asked you if I could call you Uncle Drew one time. You're like,
I let it slide when it's the kids.
I was gonna say because it's funny you bring it up. In my family, a few of my family members call me Bob.
Really?
Because my middle name's Robert.
Right.
And so it's just stuck. But
John
they're the
Bob neighbors.
Yeah, but that's the only people that I allow to do that, which I know everyone's going to be like, Bob. I guess it's going to happen.
You should go by John Bob.
No, absolutely not. That's the
John
stupidest
Bob.
thing. No. But I used to have cousins that I would get mad because when I was a fat child, they'd go John, Bon, Fat.
Oh.
And I'm like, yeah, I know. And it was just like, yeah, coming from you people? Come on now.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on
What do you
here?
mean by you people?
Yeah, them people over there that are my
crazy.
cousins.
Yeah. I like that. Shout out to Fishman, drops us a super chat. He says, if Arkansas wins a championship against Oregon State by catching a foul ball, would that prove we live in a simulation? I'm all for this, by the way. And, of course, Oregon State up 1-0 in a very pivotal super regional. I would say, other than Arkansas and Tennessee, that's probably the best super regional matchup in terms of just, fun games to watch. They come back from down 4-1 with 2 outs in the ninth inning, beat Florida State at home. That feels like a little bit of a gut punch. if Oregon State winds up being who Arkansas faces in the title series, one, I'd be happy because that means they beat North Carolina or somebody beat North Carolina, which wouldn't hurt my feelings. But I love that. I love anytime we can do the history repeating itself thing, it's cool. Anytime we can do the parallels of, we always talked about the video game final boss type of thing. I feel like Tennessee is the best possible version of the SEC teams that you can face in a super regional. Arkansas's beaten a couple before. Now they can beat a really talented one. I think to complete the story of Arkansas baseball and everything that this program's been building to, and Dave Van Horn and his tenure, and what started really with Norm DeBryan. I'm going to bring up Norm DeBryan's name a lot these next couple weeks because I do not want people to forget the role that this man played. When Norm DeBryan took the head coaching job at Arkansas, it was a chain link fence, a bunch of just dirt out there and mud all over the place. You look at this freaking palace out here, man, like it's hard not to appreciate the contribution that he had. But I think when you want to complete the story, what better way to do it?
Well, and I don't want to get too morbid here, but man, it'd just be really great while Norm is still with us on this earth. I know he's up there in age, but man, he needs to see the title. He needs to see the title get won.
100%.
And so that's another reason why, hey, make it be this year, man. Get it done. Get it done for everybody, for Norm, for Dave, for Razorback fans, for everybody. Get it done this year.
I mean, that's the way to officially exercise a demon.
Yep.
Like we would see it rise from the field out there in Omaha and just go into the sky or, down below or wherever demons go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, that would be the ultimate way to get rid of it. And there would be something satisfying about just beating a whole bunch of orange just to get all the way through.
Yes. Yeah. Like, as I said, though, I would love that. But leading up to it, I would just get pissed off because we'd have to watch that stupid clip non-stop.
But again, the clip all of a sudden would not have power over you if you beat Oregon State. And of course, leading up to it, it would suck. Would we be nervous? Would we be watching through our fingers? 100%. But that's you want to exercise your demons, you got to go kill them.
That's right.
And Arkansas has that opportunity, or could have that opportunity. That would be very unique.
Kill them, celebrate, kill again, celebrate.
I see a lot of folks in the chat that are asking. I was not referencing Trey Biddy. I want to confirm that without a shadow of a doubt.
No, we love Trey.
No,
Trey's good people.
Trey's the man.
Trey's good people.
Trey, by far, the least problematic bald guy in Arkansas media. Let's
he's
just
the man.
say that.
We absolutely love Trey.
And I'm being dead serious. I'm really not. Well, guys, we almost went an hour, which we tried to keep this one under. Wanted to get back to celebrating, getting back to prepping and pre-gaming. But we appreciate everybody for tuning in to this pre-game edition of the Baumbastic Podcast. And a reminder, we are here at Foghorns now. We will be at Foghorns after the game. So if you missed this one and you had some plans or whatever, but you're going to go to the game, you're going to have a great time, just walk right across the street to Foghorns and come kick it with us for the post game, where we now have a speaker where people can hear us. It really feels like we're it's a full on party here.
Dude, you should have seen me yesterday. I wish you guys would have. I went full John Neighbors Best Buy mode of high school with home theater set up. Like, you see this wire running right here? That was all me. Like, with the clips and everything. We're not using it because it didn't work, but I put up the little clips and everything too. And we got a good setup here because we know everybody comes to Foghorns for a great time, but especially to come and hear our analysis of pregame, postgame when it comes to the Razorback baseball team. So yeah, as long as Arkansas is playing postseason here in Baum Walker, we're going to be here at Foghorns.
Absolutely.
I'm really glad that we were able to kill an hour for ourselves and help kill an hour for a lot of other people here who are just really, really anxious to get this thing started. I can't wait. I'm going to take 3 deep breaths, slap myself in the face, and get ready to go.
Yep.
Hell yeah, man.
Yep.
Well, boys, do y'all have any final messages for Hog fans as we prepare to go into war?
Yeah. I got a message. No one's going to listen to it, but I'm fine in hearing to it. But still, Razorback fans, be confident, man. Be confident. Enjoy this ride. I know things haven't always gone your way, but this is the type of game, the type of moment, the type of atmosphere, the type of situation you want to be in. I know you may be nervous and anxious, but it's because you care. It's because you know what's at stake and you know what it could mean if you take care of business today. Don't run from it. Embrace it, protect it, enjoy it. Because if you're a college baseball fan, if you're a Razorback baseball fan, this is the type of weekend that you want to have. All eyes on you. Go and get the job done. Don't worry about anything else. Get it done and make it a great weekend in Baum Walker Stadium.
100%, man. Embrace the hog. Believe in something. Never doubt the snout. The party will continue right here after the game.
The sun will shine on our swine, will it not? And I have one more thing to say. Boots.
I'm
so excited,
Try. Man. Just keep what would you say, Andrew? It's like instead of it's roots.
Root.
Yeah.
Root. Love that. Well, again, appreciate everybody for joining us here on the Baumbastic pregame. We'll be right back here, 7:30-ish, however long it takes for this game to get wrapped up. Strap in, get in that foxhole, and we will see you later tonight. Woo damn pig, hogs by 1,000, all of that. We'll see you guys later. Appreciate you.